I work with Dr. Liu in the lab, but I'm also a volunteer firefighter and EMT in, can you slide through?
I can change the slide for you. I can translate for you.
Oh, okay, all right. So if we can have the next slide. I live in New Jersey, and I'm a volunteer firefighter at Westmont Fire Company. We're an all-volunteer fire company, but we also run the ambulance service for our community. Go to the next slide. So,
Freeze.
oh. So in our town, the fire department runs the ambulance service. We keep it staffed 24/7. We have 2 AUTs on the ambulance at all times. It's paid for by tax money, and we have. There we go. This is one of our ambulances. This is a typical modern ambulance. If we go to the next slide. Modern ambulances are essentially mobile hospitals. Unlike the old days where we basically did what was called scoop and run. We just grab somebody and race like heck to the hospital. Nowadays, we're like a mobile hospital. We can actually do a lot of things and stabilize the patient on the way to the hospital.
我来简单 I can translate.
Oh, okay, all right.
他在New Jersey， 他说这个急救车，这个现代的急救车就像一个现在小的医院。你看看这里面是他们这个急救车里面的设备。
Now, what happens when you call 911? Okay, when you call 911, what happens? We'll do the next one. The call goes to the 911 emergency center. In our case, it's the county 911 emergency center, who then takes the call, asks you some information, and then dispatches the appropriate ambulance to the scene.
他说你打了911以后，那么911以后它有一个控制中心，911控制中心，然后911控制中心它跟这个救护车联系，然后救护车这个送到这个打这个911的地方。
This whole process takes only a few minutes. We're very quick to respond. Once again, all ambulance services, there are people sitting there waiting to respond. So this happens very quickly, probably quicker than you could actually get the person to the hospital.
他说这整个过程非常短，在几分钟里面就完成，比你想象的要快得多。我们大多数的时间我们坐在那儿等。
Okay. So basically how it works, and I'm just going to lay this out. Okay, so when you call, the 911 dispatcher will then dispatch an ambulance to the scene. Depending upon the severity of the call and the dispatcher's discretion, he may also dispatch a paramedic team. Paramedics are spaced throughout the area. They're run in our area by either Cooper Hospital or Virtual Health System. Paramedics are more highly trained. They can do a lot of things like intubation and some very, more medical things than we can do. We can do basic first aid. We can give oxygen. We can do a bunch of things, but we assess and we triage. We can also, if a paramedic has been dispatched, we can decide whether or not we really need a paramedic, and then we do the transport. So at the scene, either the EMTs and or paramedics will show up, stabilize the patient, and then transport to the hospital if necessary. This all happens very quickly. And once again, the paramedics there are fewer paramedics in the area than there are EMTs. But once again, the idea is that we can do a lot of things on the scene to stabilize the patient before we transport. So we're not just scooping and running to the hospital.
他说这个你打了911以后，就是他这个911的派遣员，他首先根据他的知识来决定是单叫这个firefighter， 或者是必须要叫这个就是叫 paramedics 如果是简单的东西叫他们就可以了，他们可以给药啊，做一些给氧啊等等，而且他们也可以决定跟他们进行交流，决定是不是需要这个paramedics 救护车来。那么做了决定以后，他们就是包括在到了现场，整个过程发生的非常快，非常快。
Okay, so how busy are we? Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, in 2019 we had almost 2,000 BLS calls. That sounds like a lot, right? Sounds like we're pretty busy. Well, go to the next slide. There are actually 8,760 hours in a year. Next. Our average call takes about 30 minutes. Some are shorter, some are just simple lift assist. They're not a big deal. Some are more major. But on average, it takes us about 30 minutes from the time we're called till we're back available again. So if you do the math, that comes out to about 11%, which means that about 90% of the time we're just sitting around doing nothing. We're not that busy, okay? We're sitting around eating too much and doing things. So the point is that we are available and we're not always tied up. We have plenty of time to come and respond.
他说这个每年你看他们就是他们这个中心，基本的生命支持的这个电话大概有2000多个，那每年有大概9000多个，然后但是你算一算，就是好像很多的电话，对不对？很多急救，打急救，但是他们的通过这个计算，他们90%的时间，他们坐在那儿没事干，他跟我私下交流就在那儿吃这个 donuts， 所以肚子也
Put on 20 pounds since I've been an EMT. Another thing too, I shouldn't say this, but I've never met an old paramedic who weighs less than about 250 pounds.
所以他们越来越胖。
So, don't be afraid, ashamed, or reluctant to call 911. We're sitting there waiting. Don't wait. Call us. You know, we. Next slide.
就别担心啊，也别觉得觉得丢丑啊。其实我们中国人也是，就要是我要发生这样的事情的话，就发生在我身上的，可能也会这样一种担心。就说哎呀，我是不是叫错了？我那叫错了，什么事儿也没有。所以他说别担心，也不要觉得是丢脸的事情，打这个911。
Next slide. All right, great. So, if you call 911 and it turns out not to be an emergency, okay, not a big deal. We're happy, you're happy. Nothing makes us happier than to arrive on the scene expecting a big problem and it turns out to be not a big problem. We're happy, we go back to our station, you're happy, all good, okay? So there's no shame. We respond, we know sometimes people don't know if it's an emergency, but they call us and we can determine and either find out what it is or isn't. The point is, don't be reluctant to call us. You're not going to be embarrassed. We're not going to say, oh, why did you call us? We respond and then the decision can be made. Don't wait. Call us, okay?
也就是说，如果我们到了现场发现什么事儿没有，你们高兴，我们也高兴，大家高兴。
Next one. If it does turn out to be an emergency, this is where we can help. This is what we do. This is why we train. This is why we sit around. This is exactly what we're here for. Next. Because we can do things. We can treat and stabilize the patient by giving oxygen, etc. We can get to the hospital a heck of a lot faster than you can because people get out of your way when you have lights and sirens, okay? So we get there a lot quicker. Plus, the next one.
他说
Oh, okay, all right.
如果真的是急诊，他们会会把病人就是稳定下来，可以把这个病人直接送到这个112里面，比你们任何方法都要快得多。
And we're also in radio contact with the hospital, so we know which hospital to go to. If it's a stroke, if we need to go to just a primary stroke center, we know where they are and we'll get to there. If you need a comprehensive stroke center, we'll go there. That's the advantage of calling us. If you try to take your own family member by your car, you're going to get tied up in traffic and you might go to the wrong hospital. If you go to the wrong hospital, they're only going to transport them to another place, which means a lot of time has been wasted. You call us, we can decide where to go. We're talking to the doctors on the radio, so they are already ready, waiting for us. They're waiting with the CAT scanner, they're waiting, the doctors are there. So that's why you call 911.
所以说我们在车里面，我们在转运的时候，而且马上就跟医院联系，而且我们可以决定，该把这个病人送到什么医院，因为你自己可能跑到医院根本没有这个能力救治。因为这个中风中心它有初级中风中心和高级中风中心，他们会跟医生决定，而且一旦通了电话，医院就会启动预警，就启动整个系统。比如说我值班的时候，我有手机还有这个on call 的东西，会预警马上到我的手机上面来哈，中风病人来了，而且告诉我们多少分钟以后到，非常精确。
Okay. This is just a little comparison. Once again, you don't have to read the details, but the difference between a primary stroke center and a comprehensive stroke center. Some hospitals aren't either. So the point is, if you go to a non-stroke center or a primary stroke center, they may just have to transport you to the comprehensive stroke center. Once again, that's where we come in. We can decide, between us and the paramedics, what stroke center you should go to. Saves a lot of time, because if you have to be transported from one hospital to another hospital, that's just taking time. And once again, as Dr. Renu said, the longer it takes, the more brain is being lost.
就是他刚才刚才其实就是再强调一下，就是美国的中风中心有初级中风中心和高级中心，中国也是一样的，也差不多的。那么他们可以决定，而且跟医院里面进行交流，到底该把你送到什么地方去。你如果送错了，会浪费很多时间。
And as you know, there's a whole lot of these new urgent care centers that are all over the place. Okay, they don't do a whole heck of a lot. What they do basically is call 911. If you show up at an at an urgent care center, a local urgent care center, and they determine that this could be a stroke, what are they going to do? They're going to call 911. So all they've done, you just paid them to call 911. If you called 911 in the first place, we'd have gotten there sooner. So an urgent care center is not a stroke center.
所以说在美国有很多这个 urgent care， urgent care 这个名字我觉得是起的不对的，起的不对。
We spend more time going to urgent care centers, taking people to the hospital. So basically, all the urgent care center did was dial 911 for you.
你去了 urgent care， 他们所能做的，也就是说帮你打911。
好像是像包扎一样的，如果你有 cut， 马上有 cut， 你去 that's a good place.
Little stuff they're good for. Anything major, they're just going to call 911, and we come to the urgent care center and take you to the hospital. So once again, remember, fast, face, arms, speech. Dr. Liu covered all this. So just remember this, and then we go to the next slide, the final slide. When in doubt, call 911. No big deal. We're there sitting there waiting, we're eating too many donuts. Call us. We'll get there. We can help decide, get you to the hospital much quicker than you can take somebody either in a taxi or in your own car. We'll take you to the right hospital. And once again, it's not a big deal. That's why we're there. Okay? And our ambulance service does not charge to transport. Some ambulance services do have a small charge. Your insurance company covers that, okay? It's not a big deal. You're not going to get charged an exorbitant amount of money to ride in an ambulance. We're set up by communities to be there to serve people. So once again, don't hesitate. Call 911 in any doubt. That's it.
所以如果有人觉得有可能是中风，call 911。
Yeah.